I had a friend in Britain, I think it was Paul Bentley or Bentley, like the actor.
Right.
And he had, I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, he's a nice fellow, good comic. And he has Parkinson's so bad that he really shook, like really, so obvious that he had Parkinson's. So his stand-up routine was a lot about shaking a lot and having Parkinson's, as it would be.
Right.
But then what happened was he fucking, they put him on this medication and he was solid as a rock. And it fucked his whole stand. Like he said to me, he goes, I got to write a whole new set. Fucking this medication's working too well.
Well, that is it, because things do have to happen to write about.
Yeah, it's like if Brad Williams grew tall all of a sudden. He'd be like, this screws me.
God damn it. But there is something about it, because it, I feel like your journey as a comic is your sort of journey to get to know yourself and what your identity is, and you might shed a few identities along the way, but having to start with a whole new identity is a whole new series of who am I? What do I like?
I had to deal with a lot not being broke. Early on in my career, my whole thing was I'm broke. I got no fucking money.
Now you can't do that. It would be not authentic.
And it's always like I was in the dollar store and I was buying a thing, and you know what I mean, it was a funny story of the everyday man. And I now I don't really have that anymore. So I try to, and also I used to be a lot of stuff about my childhood, and that stuff runs out. Because your childhood's only so long.
Right.
I've told every story.
And every special can't be about your childhood.
Well, this is the weird thing, because then I started talking about my child's childhood, right? My son's childhood. And then people are like, he just talks about his son. And so I'm thinking about just stealing his childhood and just saying these are things that happened to me. Because then it seems more authentic or personal.
Hey, you kid, go play with knives. Tell me about it. Tell me what happens. You're just sending him off on danger missions.
My kid, when the billboard for the Jim Jefferies show was put up, I got told by a friend, like, it's on Sunset. The billboard's on Sunset. So I picked up Hank from school. And, like in that bit of Sunset where they have that Comedy Central billboard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of billboards around there.
Right.
And there's that big, tall one that's a whole building on the left. Right?
Yeah.
And so I said, Hank, we're going to see a very special billboard, and you'll know it as soon as you see it, like that, right? And we're driving along. I goes, is that one? No, not that one. It's coming up. You'll know it when you see it, right? Then we drive up to my big fucking head on a billboard, and then my son looks past at the next one and goes, new Minions movie.
Well, your son, just part of the curse of you being a dad is that your son is probably not going to be overly impressed outwardly by anything.
The first, I told this story on Conan, I think, but the first billboard that I had up was for one of my Netflix specials. And the billboard, the special was called Freedom, and the billboard was me sitting like an eagle with like machine guns and an American flag hanging off me, this giant eagle, acting all American, right?
Yeah.
And so my son sees that on the way home. He comes home and I'm playing a video game, and he sits down next to me. He goes, hey, Dad. And he goes, were you riding on a big eagle? And I said, oh, yeah, I was. He goes, when did that happen? And I went, the other day. And he goes, where was I? I go, you're at school. He goes, that's fucked. And I've never heard him say that word. He hasn't said it since or before.
Did you laugh?
He used it properly.
He did use it properly.
And he used fuck, not fuck. That's fuck.
Does he have an accent? Does he have your accent?
He has an American accent.
He has an American accent. How are you going to prevent, from someone who grew up without a lot of means and resources, how are you going to ensure that your kid's not going to be
there's no way.
Spoiled asshole?
There's no way. I'll tell you what happened, right? I was getting to start to feel that like he just he was riding his bike around in the house the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, that can't be right. Right? He's riding around we have marble floors, he's riding around the house. I'm like, fuck this kid. And so I was like, every time I fly business class, he's sitting next to me in a big chair, and I said, all right, this is what we're doing. We're getting an RV, we're booking a whole lot of gigs. When me and his mum were still together, we're booking a whole lot of gigs. I go, I'm driving to each gig, and we're camping at fucking each venue. And that's what we're gonna rough it like this, right? And then like AEG and Bilstein were like, Jim, that's a lot of driving, and you're going to be tired, and you want to have your sleep, and then you got to do a show. And how about we just get you a van, and we get you a driver, so you don't have to do the driving. You can stay in the back with your kid, and you can. Right? I was like, all right, I'll do that. And then they're like, yeah, but then you'll still need hotels. It's a van. It's not So in the end, I took Lenny Kravitz's tour bus.
A van, just a little van.
And I came out in the morning. My kid was eating a bowl of cereal, watching TV.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God,
Yeah,
he's learned nothing.
Yeah, I mean, because I would imagine it's just something that I'm curious about for when I have kids and other friends of mine who are doing very well are having this struggle of like, well, I want him to be able to do fun, cool things.
Yeah.
But how do you make sure that they don't get entitled?
Going to Disneyland and paying for the front of the line people. Right? Because I don't want to line up.
Right.
And a lot of it's not that you want him to do fun things. I don't want to do bad things. Right? And so it's like, it's this, because I want him to sit in economy, but I'm not going to sit in I don't want to sit in economy myself, right? So it's very hard to, I bet the struggle is a lot different. But, things I haven't done, I'm not giving him an inheritance that is sitting there, what do they call it?
What, a trust?
Trust fund. I'm not giving him a trust fund. I put a little bit into a college fund, but, I feel like I'm going to make him get a job. It's one of the things I'm going to do when he's 15, go work at the fucking dog on a stick place or whatever, Wetzel's Pretzels or whatever, right? And I'm going to make him do that.
Yeah.
But like, fundamentally, it's still goes home to the same house, and I don't think you can stop it. The good thing about my kid is, and this is like sounds like just a proud parent, but it's true. And other people who meet him, he's just really good. I'm all for discipline. I just don't have to discipline him. He doesn't. I've given him like 3 timeouts, and they were like tragic moments in his life that he still talks about.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and he's got friends that come over and spend the night, and I'm like, these fucking kids are right, and the parents are disciplining the shit out of him. They're opening pill bottles and climbing into cupboards, and I'm like, what is?
You know what it is, though? You gave him a cool name. Hank is a pretty cool name.
Yeah, Hank's
if he was like a Skylar or a Taylor, he'd be a fucking asshole. Like, you got to be really careful not to give your kid a douchebag name. And I'm sorry if anyone out there is a Skylar or a Taylor. But I mean,
he's got some at his school that you're like, all right.
But that's a name you hear get yelled at the Grove. Skylar! Skylar, stop it. Come here. Put that down. You already have an iPhone. I'm not getting you a third one.
Scott, my producer, me and him took our kids are the same age. We took them to Disneyland. Sorry, I'm stuttering today. Took them to Disneyland, and it was Jack and Hank.
Ah, that's great.
And they're like, "Where's Jack and Hank?" It felt like we were taking 2 old men around with us.
Yeah, we'll catch up to you. You know what you got to do though is you got to get the front of the line passes for you guys, but then make the kids wait in line and go. This is how you learn.
They're still molestable.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You got to wait till they're not molestable. When they're 13,
then
you
can do it.
Yeah, off you go.
Then you.
I'll happily when he's 13 sit in economy. I'll be up front here, mate. I'll see you in Boston.